as a sound professional, I am always preaching Pro Tools, Pro Tools, Pro Tools. But when it comes to actually creating content now these days, I found a huge time saver in using DaVinci Resolve, and specifically using the built-in Fairlight audio mixer. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how I personally use it to make my content sound good, all the while saving me a ton of time and giving me the flexibility I need. Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of Mastering Post-Production Sound. My name is Joel D. Catalan. I am a re-recording mixer and sound supervisor and industry coach. Typically, when I start content for my YouTube videos, I use this very simply, right? I started using Resolve back in August of 2024, mainly because it was free. I didn't know how to use it. I taught myself how to use it. Thank God for YouTube University, right? But I absolutely fell in love with it very quickly. Before that, I was using iMovie, and I dabbled with CapCut. And the problem I ran into those things is I would record audio into Pro Tools, and then I would edit it, and then I would export it, and then I try to sync it up and all these things. Well, I love Resolve because it can sync very, very easily. You can take multicam audio and things like that and sync it with the click of a button. But how I have come to love this really is because of the ease of the Fairlight mixer here. So when I start a video, right, here's my timeline. Usually I'll import whatever audio and any source videos that I have. So I just had a video here. I happen to put a music track in there too. But what I do is I'll create a timeline, right? And I'll drop this in. You'll see that it's literally just one video and one stereo audio. And this is shot on my iPhone. It's nothing fancy, right? This is what any everyday content creator who's out there, if you're just starting creating content, I highly recommend downloading Resolve and, just start messing around, right? Start figuring out. The way I started figuring out Resolve was similar to how I started Pro Tools many moons ago. I just played around. I was curious. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll show you what I typically do. I'll just hit play here and just show you a little bit of the raw audio.
It's a gorgeous day. Hey, my name's Joel. I'm a dad. I'm a post-production sound.
Okay, it's a little hot right there. You can see in the A1 mixer. So down here with the little music note, that's the Fairlight. A little pop there. I don't know what that was. This is the Fairlight mixer. What I love about this is it's very easy. You'll see there's the audio here, and then this bus right here is sort of like your out, right? Your main out. But if you go over here to this mixer right here, you can go to small mixer, you can go full mixer. What I like to do is I like to add a couple things, and when you're a couple plugins rather, when you're creating content, right? Usually, if you're just recording stuff from your iPhone, there's a very simple way, just using a couple little things that you can do to make your content sound more professional, right? And that's the goal. We could have really, really crappy video, but if our audio sounds great, then, you can retain attention. But if our video looks wonderful, but our audio sounds like crap, watch out. You're not going to get many people who are going to tune in. All right, so let's take a look at this, right? Obviously here in the mixer, we have input, track effects, the order, effects in, dynamic, you get your panner, all these different things right here, right? This is very simple how I use it, okay? Under effects, what I'll start with is an EQ, right? I'll go ahead and grab my EQ. And you can grab, if you have, just a simple EQ in there, I'm going to grab my trusty Pro Q3 because I love it. And typically what I'll do for my YouTube content, depending on the environment, whether I'm on the stage or the studio, or if I'm outside, I will always give myself at least, a 7-band EQ right here, right? And what I love about the Pro Q
Sound professional
is you have the visualization here, right, of all the bands and the frequencies right here. So I want to go ahead and engage
and
a cut here, right? Probably around 90 or so.
I'm creating videos here on YouTube to encourage those who are over 40 to just
takes a little bit of that low rumble out.
Start recording.
Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll probably something like this. I could just tell, I know I'm outside.
Friend.
I may do a little bit of a cut here around, 500. I'll just narrow it tiny bit here on the Q. And then because I lost, you know, I'm cutting all that away, I'm going to go ahead and switch to a bell and give myself
I have
a little bit of body here.
began my journey here.
I've rolled off some of this rumble of the street, you know, the cars and the planes, things like that. And then over here, what I'll do is I'll just give myself a little bit of a sparkle. The high end, especially for content online, this is what I like to call like the sparkle, right? The sparkle of the dialogue up here, just to get that,
Here
that
on this
clarity and that crispness. Let's take a listen.
channel, because I believe that you have something to offer the world. The world needs to hear your.
Okay, so something like that, but you can see it's getting a little crispy right there. But you know, you can adjust however you see fit, right? However you like it. And then I'll also just engage this high cut right here, and I'll just
story.
take a little bit of that off right there. Oh, let's get back to this top. I've also programmed the DaVinci Resolve and to correspond with my Pro Tools hotkeys as far as the zoom, you know, R to zoom out, T to zoom in, which helps me a lot.
It's gorgeous day.
So let's just say that's where we're at, right? It's a little hot. And so what I typically do is after my EQ is I'll add another effect, but simply by just clicking here, and you'll see you have all your audio plugins right here. So whatever plugins you have in your system will come up here, because when you import, not rather import, but you install Resolve. I keep wanting to say dissolve. Resolve, it'll give you the option to add all your plugins. So next thing, what I would do if I needed it, right? And I'm just gonna go ahead and just add it right now. Anyways, is what I would do is I would add a De-Esser if I needed it, right? If I needed it, I would then put it right here. And since I don't really need it, let's see. Here we go. De-Esser. There it is. Let's go ahead and add that. And so here you can adjust however you want.
Hey, my name's.
The default is fine. And then after that, what I'll do is typically I'll put a little bit of under dynamics, I'll go ahead and I'll add a multiband compressor, right? And even if you went with what it is,
Joel. I'm a dad. I'm a post-production sound professional.
It kind of takes and it tames those bands, those frequencies, right? And then after that, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll grab a limiter, okay, under dynamics, and just the simple, you know, you could do one of your, special ones if you want. But I'm gonna go ahead and just take the limiter here from there, and I'm gonna on the input go -2. And limit, I'll do a -2 as well. Okay, and now we should have
it's gorgeous day. Hey, my name's Joel.
A little bit more tamed levels there, right? And of course, you can adjust, the volume if you want. You can give yourself
a dad
more volume there. Whatever you want to do, right? Also, one way to do volume graphs here are nodes. If I just pull this out right here, you'll see I can go in here where the line is, and I can literally just raise it if I want to, right? Or lower it this way. I could also go over here to the right under audio, right? You'll see there's video, there's audio, and I could grab the slider and I could do that too. I can enter if I want to. I could go 10 and raise it. I can go -10 or -1. I missed a 0. -10 if I want to. But if I stay at 0, I can also do another way. I can go over here if I want to get into these words and I just want to get this little waveform right here down a little bit. What I'll do is I'll just click option. You see the little plus comes up there, and I'll click a node. Okay, it's like a keyframe basically. And now what I could do, you'll see. Oh, I can't do that. I have to add another one here. Let's add another one here and another here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create that right there. You see how I can lower that now? And so now that specific word with the nodes,
a dad,
it comes down, right? And I don't like the way it sounds right now, particularly. I'm not mixing this right now. I'm just showing you how I use it. But I would go in there and I would adjust levels. If I wanted to use some noise reduction, I would do the same thing here. Well, actually, let me show you.
a dad.
Okay, so we hear a car by right there, right? Let's take a look.
A dad. I'm a post-production.
So let's just go right here. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna cut this little part right here, from here to here. And what I'm gonna do, let's go back to our timeline here. right here, you see, if we're on the main, because usually you're going to spend your time here editing, right? You're going to be going on and be cutting, right? So this little bit right here, right, where the car by is, right? Let's see.
A dad.
Okay, right there. I can go over here under my audio effects, right? You have Fairlight effects here, and if you go down to your VSTs, you'll see these here as well. And what I'm going to do is I can then grab, for instance, my RX dialogue isolate. And this is pretty intuitive. It's pretty cool. I can just literally grab that plugin and drop it right on top. And what's going to do is going to actually pop up a little display of the dialogue isolate. And there, what I can do now is I can adjust these settings to get it how I like. And typically, you know, I don't like to use a ton. So like I'll see what like a -5 on the noise department. Actually go -6. Let's just listen to that. Right. And I'll click out of that. So what it's doing is it's actually doing it in real time right there, right?
Hey, my name's Joel. I'm a dad. I'm a post-production sound professional.
I typically don't like to do a lot of processing there. What I'll do is I'll do some ticks, you know, I'll do some declicks and things like that. Not everything's perfect, but you can do it that way, right? And so the next thing I'll do, let's just pretend everything sounds wonderful, right? I'm going to get rid of that. We didn't do anything like that. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my mix here. There we go. And
A dad.
when I get happy and I like it and I'm like, okay, typically that's all I'm really doing.
Start recording.
It's usually pretty good, right? I got into a place where it sounds decent. I have some decent EQ on there, you know, a little bit of a De-Esser. This might be a little bit too much for my liking right now, but like, you know, if I cut everything like at a -12, let's just do that. -12, boom.
Friend, I have began my journey here on this new channel.
Okay, so now you can adjust however you like it. But what I like about this is that it gives me so much flexibility because whether it's outside, whether it's inside, I can make any kind of adjustments that I usually would make when I'm using Pro Tools. But this time, everything's together. I don't have to go offline, go into Pro Tools, do the work there, bounce offline, you know, export the audio, import it into my editing software, marry it up, sync it up, you know, and then go. I can literally do it all right here. And so I absolutely love it. Let me just make this a little bigger. This is how I cut. You know, I'll go along and I will say, okay, let's cut here. You know, we'll cut here. Boom, boom. You know, let's get this here, move it there. And
Hey,
it is just so helpful for me to have such a powerful engine in the Fairlight within an editing software that's free, mind you, friend. It is free to use. So if you are a content creator who is out there and want to make your project sound better, utilize this part of Resolve. Utilize the Fairlight system. And with a little bit of EQ, you know, like rolling off some of that, those low ends, right? Emphasizing some of the other frequencies. You know, if you have some harsh S's, you're definitely going to want to use a De-Esser. But, and I'll delete it just to show you it goes away. I don't need it, right? A compressor, you know, let's say you don't want to use a multiband compressor. Let's say you want to go ahead and use like an R compressor, right? Let's make sure. Yep, there we go, right? And let's say you have some presets that you like, right? Let's go here. Artists. Oh, look at that. We got a bunch of artists here. Eddie Kramer. Oh, Eddie Kramer. You guys, I lost an Emmy to Eddie Kramer. I met Eddie Kramer, and he is a beautiful soul. It was so much fun. I'll throw a picture. Here's a picture of Eddie and I and my mixing partner at the time after we lost. We lost our category to him, but I was so grateful to lose to him. What a sweetheart. So back to the video, but let's just say, you know, you went.
I'm creating videos here on YouTube to encourage those who are over 40 to just start recording.
So now, and you can see how it's adjusting here in your bus one
Friend.
output, right? Now, of course, you can really, you know, build this out, build a huge template out, and maybe that's a video for another time, but just using these simple, very simple, you know, settings and opportunities to use some of these plugins can make your content sound so much better. But I absolutely love DaVinci Resolve, and I'm just gonna tell you, like, I'm not a pro at it, but because I use my ears and I know the foundations of making something sound good for film and TV, it is a huge time saver for me. There's so much of this stuff too that I just have not dived into and had the opportunity to wrap my brain around, but that's how I use it to create content. So very simple. And you know, if I wanted to, let's go back to the timeline here. If I wanted to add this, I brought this little piece of music, right? If I wanted to add something, right? Usually what I would do is I would, for me, I'm clicking control click and I'll go to add a stereo track. It gives me a track right below, and I can grab this music track, throw it below here. Oops, there we go. And if I go back to the Fairlight, mind you, what I love about this is I can make adjustments here on the main timeline video while I'm looking at it, or in the Fairlight system here. Okay, so let's go back to the main thing. Because this is how I typically work, like, you know, 90% of the time I'll work on here because I'm trying to get something out quickly. So I'm looking at the video and the audio of the dialogue and any music. So right here, and I'm just gonna open this up a little bit more here. This is a pretty loud track already. So again, I could come up here and grab this slider and go down, you know, or I could grab this little line and bring it down and raise it, okay? I'm going to go down something like this. Let's just see if we can hear.
It's a gorgeous day. Hey, my name's Joel. I'm a dad. I'm a post-production sound professional.
You know, I'll get whatever clip I want, you know, and if I go up to here, let's say I'm going to cut it there. So I just can Command B and delete this. I could pull this out as a long fade, make it a long fade.
My name's Joel.
And
I'm a dad. I'm a post-production sound professional, and I'm creating videos here.
Yeah, so, you know, you could create nodes in here, or rather, I call them nodes, but they're like keyframes, right? And I could say, okay, I want to come here, and where's the other one? Boom. We're going to go all the way down. So I could literally, if I want to keyframe my audio, you know, where I want it to go down, or what I could do is when I hit play, because I've created these keyframes here, I could sort of treat this volume thing as a mixer. As long as I pass this first node in my timeline here, I can then grab this slider and sort of write automation. Let's try it.
My name's Joel. I'm a dad. I'm a post-production sound professional, and I'm creating videos.
So you see that. You see how it created that. But I could not do that if I'm here.
It's gorgeous.
Oops, lagging here.
Day. Hey, my name's Joel.
It's just gonna do that. So I have no baseline automation there, right? So I gotta establish that first. Once I establish it, then
It's gorgeous day. Hey, my name's Joel. I'm a dad. I'm a post-production sound professional.
Get it? So there's a couple different ways to do it. So again, flexibility when it comes to your audio tools and using this very powerful system to mix and adjust your audio to make it sound much, much better. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's episode in Mastering Post-Production Sound Friend. That is a quick breakdown of how I use DaVinci Resolve and specifically the Fairlight mixer to make my videos sound more professional when creating content. If you have been using and editing in Resolve and you've felt stuck on how to get cleaner, more professional sounding audio, I really do hope that this video has gotten you started. If it's helped, go ahead and hit the like button, my friend, and consider subscribing, because I don't know if you knew this, but 50 something percent, I think it's like 56% of the people watching these videos are not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button. That would be so awesome. And friend, let me know in the comments if you like content like this, or if you have any other questions when it comes to making your videos sound better using DaVinci Resolve and workflows like this. And friend, if you're super serious about growing in post-production sound, in your sound career, and if you're looking for a community and support from other people in the industry, I want you to check out my inner circle. All the information is below. Go ahead and check that out. I really appreciate you being here. Friend, I'll see you over here in one of these videos on the side or in next week's episode.